seen scenes like this at BMO Field in the 10 years that this club has been in Major League Soccer.
I've never seen a playoff series that was like that.
It wasn't such a hostile environment. I just remember thinking, wow.
Tempers flare just 12 minutes into this second leg.
Roller coaster of emotions, that's for sure.
Players don't like each other, the fan bases don't like each other, and this was for something very special.
By the end of the night, one of these two Canadian teams will be crowned Eastern Conference champion.
If you quit, now go home.
The players put in a ton of work to get to that moment. That's what you play for. Go out and leave it all on the field.
Welcome to the Audi 2016 MLS Cup playoffs. History will be made here tonight for the first time ever. A Canadian team will move on to the MLS Cup final.
And it's a game where a lot of players will tell me this week it's their biggest game of their career.
There was just a feeling that you get on those very biggest nights in sporting arenas around the world, and it was certainly present at BMO Field that night.
A sellout crowd of 36,000 on hand for this Eastern Conference Championship second leg here at BMO Field.
You know, these rivalries are only good as so long as you can stay on the right side of the history of the rivalries.
You want that bragging right, you want to say that you play on the best team in Canada, and that's what you fight for.
I feel like there was a certain energy in the building.
There's a lot of things that this rivalry stems from, and you know, you have that all built into this game.
Focus on what you gotta do tonight. Focus on what you gotta do tonight. Here we go.
Michael Bradley got one of Toronto's 2 goals as they came back from 3 down at Olympic Stadium last week in the first leg.
It wasn't just about getting to an MLS Cup. It was about being the first Canadian team to do it.
By the end of the night, one of these 2 Canadian teams will be crowned Eastern Conference champion.
And the setting for this story was perfect. The plot was still to unfold, but when you talk about kickoff, you couldn't have scripted that any better.
The second leg of the 2016 Eastern Conference Championship is underway. Montreal in the blue and black, Toronto FC in the red. The US international skipping past a couple of challenges. He's into the box, pulled back, Jeffrinko tried the little flip. No team has advanced to MLS Cup after losing the first leg of the conference final. That is what Toronto FC's goal is tonight.
You always felt that the momentum was with TFC, but they would probably have to score first.
Split downfield, Jozy Altidore looking to get there first, using his strength. Altidore turns, Jeffrinko tries to get there.
Great start by Toronto, exactly what we expect.
These 2 teams, the fan base and everything, every game, every goal, every inch counts.
Again, when emotions are involved, and they were at the highest level on that day, people get drawn into this type of rivalry in a really big way.
Tempers flare just 12 minutes into this second leg. Come on!
Hassoun! Second ball!
For a coach, you want your mind to be focused in the right things, in the right moments, to be able to manage emotion.
Every time we play, we put them in difficulty. Chaque fois qu'on joue, on les met.
The better you prepare, the better you're ready to cope with situations.
Gets it forward from Ankosu. Piatti is out to the left. Betis Shaw trying to track back. Ankosu finds Adoro. Adoro!
It was a goal that left me shaking my head saying, how could you just be so exposed in the back like that?
As he did in the first leg, the former Toronto player returns to BMO Field to haunt his old team.
We had a great start, gave away the first goal though, had to play from behind again.
Every story needs a villain, and it was Aduro.
It's the second Toronto FC corner of the game, and Sebastian Jeffrinko is across there to take it.
I think TFC knew that if they were going to find goals in that game, set pieces would be a very good way to go about it.
Played in towards Haglund with a header, it's cleared off the line, and Cooper scoops it in from close range. Orlando Cooper, 36 minutes gone, he scores his first goal for Toronto FC. It's tied at 1-1.
One of the special things about TFC's success has been the partnerships that they develop between their biggest players.
Evan Bush did not keep that one in play. So it's another corner for Toronto FC. Jozy Altidore looking to take it quickly. Javinko just gesturing to Jozy.
I think there's some audio of me out there saying, don't change the play, don't change the play.
Don't change the plays. Don't change the plays.
Toronto FC spent considerable amount of time yesterday working on set-piece situations. Wait to see if anything makes its way off the training ground. Javinko's ball in. Altidore with a header! Jozy Altidore cannot stop scoring right now!
You saw the whisper, you saw Seba and Jozy kind of confirm, all right, Jozy's going to run near post. It might be a glancing header if everything works out right.
5 playoff games, 5 playoff goals.
You pay millions of dollars to have a player that can deliver a ball on a dime, and you pay millions of dollars to have a player that can just slightly change the direction of the ball.
Now 15 goals in 19 games and 7 goals in his last 8 matches.
The finish for me was incredible. One of the best corner kick goals I've ever seen.
It is half-time here at BMO Field.
See it out, guys. See it out. No excuses. See it out. Every play matters.
Hey, the start is so important. Well, if the second 45 minutes is anywhere near as entertaining as the first, it will be quite a ride here at BMO Field.
We were now down 2-1 in that game. It was a moment to reframe.
It's Montreal on the front foot in the opening moments of this second half. Finds Aduro. Aduro with a deflected shot.
But these things turn fast, and you have to stay always on your edge and always fearing a little bit that momentum could shift at any moment.
Turning it around for the players and say, hey, look, we got to get the next one.
Now played in towards Piatti. Picked up by Venegas. Through for Piatti here. Nacho Piatti! It's in! Montreal have the goal that ties it up on the night at 2-2.
There's that moment of like, holy shit, like this is not happening again.
Montreal Impact in front, 5-4 on aggregate.
We were able to get that second goal, which put us in a very good situation in that game.
We got to hold to the 90. Tell him.
You start doing the math of the away goals and let's play it out. Let's see what happens if we score 2 and they score 2.
Only once in MLS playoff history has a club trailed by 3 goals in a 2-leg series and come back to win the tie.
I've never seen a playoff series that was like that, in which, you know, once they took the goal, they had the lead, we were able to come back and get 2. We have the lead, they get the lead back.
Now it's with Sebastian Javinko. It's a decent cross in. Asun Camera flicks it away for a corner.
It felt like 2 heavyweight prize fighters just trading shots.
Cooper goes short towards Justin Morrow. Now it's played into space for Morrow to chip this one into the edge of the box. Haglund with a header! Nick Haglund climbing high! It's 3-2 for TFC, and it is tied 5-5 on aggregate. Once again.
When that ball came into the box and you look at Nick Haglund going for it, he was the only one in that situation that was going to be able to win that ball.
Once again, set pieces causing problems for Montreal.
I think the magnitude, I think it was sinking in real time as you saw it in space.
What a night at BMO Field.
The fact that it happened in front of the supporters section as well, at that end of BMO Field, made it even more special.
Quite an atmosphere inside BMO Field. 3-2 on the night. The same scoreline as in the first leg at Olympic Stadium.
They hit their counter shot, and as a fighter, you're thinking, I got him now. Fine, like this has to be it. This has to be the one.
Not throw the word classic around too often, but this is one that will go down in the books.
I think even after the Haglund goal, you're still kind of thinking, this is going to go wrong though at some point, won't it?
10 goals so far in this one, and there have to be more.
Anyone who had been watching that club since day one would have been very nervous
As those minutes tick forward, that anxiety grows because the idea of penalties slowly encroaches in your mind, and you're like, I'm not sure how this is going to play out.
TFC conceded so many late goals down the years and shot themselves in the foot so many times, especially at home at BMO Field.
Time running out for Montreal at the end of what has been a wonderful season. Drogba plays it inside, it's Altidore, it's off Hagland, Owen won't get there. If it stays like this, it will be 30 minutes more. And after a thriller, who wouldn't want the extra half an hour?
The outcome will ultimately be a product of our work and how we play and what we give to the game.
It's Jozy Altidore, it's the Canadian, slides it across, Simon sliding in with a challenge.
Go out and leave it all on the field.
We are headed to extra time at BMO Field.
To add to the drama, it had to go to extra time, and it had to be decided in that extra 30 minutes to just push it over the edge.
Hey, on set en arrière, on set! Don't stop getting pressure! Tell them!
We've waited a long time for a Canadian side to get this far. Now we have two of them, head to head.
There was an incredible amount of concentration and energy and intensity that was going into that game.
Piatti chasing onto it here up against Drew Moore. It's Nacho Piatti. Wonderful play.
When you're in a classic like this, it has to go into extra time. It has to have that drama.
Brought down by Jozy Altidore. He'll try and pick out Sebastian Jovinko. Jovinko here up against Hassan Kamara. Jovinko is down.
Now? Really? Now?
Twists his ankle. He's going to have to come off.
It was almost just a little bit of a reality check that if TFC were going to do this, they were going to have to do it without their star guy.
I'll bring on Benoit Cheyrou, who has plenty of experience down his career.
If a team had 11 Benoit Cheyrous, they're probably going to win a lot because he is somebody who has it right inside.
With the energy that's going around the stadium, you have a guy that's been in these big games. Benoit comes on to stabilize.
Mauro down the left. Ricketts the only man in the box. Cheyrou joining the attack as well as it's played backwards for Bradley.
The reason you get a Benoit Cheyrou is for those big moments.
Bradley for Altidore, out for Beitashour on the right.
The rest, of course, is something that no one would have predicted when Jovinko left that pitch.
Beitashour with a good ball into the middle, a stopping header, and it's in! It's Benoit Cheyrou, just off the bench for the injured Jovinko, and he puts Toronto FC in front!
Come on, Ben, come on!
It was a veteran player saying, I know what to do in these moments. That's why you bring players that have been there before in, right?
Benoit Cheyrou right now, the unlikely hero. Now it's Jozy Altidore. Altidore shrugs off the challenge of Cabrera. Ricketts is in there! It's Jozy Ricketts! It's 2 goals in 2 minutes! And the Canadian puts Toronto FC on the verge of MLS Cup! 5-2 on the night, 7-5 on aggregate. What a night for Canadian soccer.
That was the moment where you just said, okay, this is it. This is actually done and dusted. TFC have actually done it.
I have not seen scenes like this at BMO Field in the 10 years that this club has been in Major League Soccer. Osorio hammers it downfield. It's over. On the most incredible of nights, Toronto FC, Eastern Conference champions.
Hey, good luck to you guys. Respect, you guys. Hey, well done. All right, good luck.
A night 10 years in the making. The celebrations can begin.
I just remember on the TV a moment when we just said, we've got to show this. There don't need to be any words. It just gave people such a window from outside into what was being felt in that stadium, the connection that was happening between the players and the fans that had supported them through thick and thin.
It ticked every box. Fans want goals, and they got them. Fans want atmosphere, and they had it. Fans want heroes, and they had it.
That's probably, to this day, the two greatest matches I've been a part of.
That series there was probably one of the most exciting series in MLS history.
Because of what was overcome in the first leg to how it all turned around the second leg and what it meant for TFC at that moment in time, that night at BMO Field, for me, is still one of my top 2 or 3 of all time from 2 decades calling games.
A statement that we've used in our club for many years is, people remember how you make them feel. And this is one of those games that has that extra feeling.